The Golden Order Greatsword is arguably one of the best looking weapons in the game. And the sad truth is, nobody uses it. I made it my personal mission to uncover its true potential. I systematically broke it down, navigated its intricacies, and finally arrived at a build that transforms it into the unstoppable force it was always meant to be. First, let's break down the weapon's raw capabilities. Its damage is split into 60% holy and 40% physical, but that is misleading. The first of many puzzles, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. A standard two-handed attack hits for around 974 damage. A heavy attack gives you a respectable 33% increase. And if you charge the heavy, you get another 31% boost on top of that. But then, there is the main selling point, the weapon's unique skill. Establish Order. This full skill delivers a staggering 3,778 damage. That's a colossal 287% increase over a basic attack. And visually, it is a spectacle, a golden explosion and a sweeping wave of light. The skill itself is broken into three distinct parts. Part 1 accounts for 32% of the overall damage. The second part delivers roughly 19% of the total damage, and the impactful final hit makes up the remaining 49%. The raw damage potential is clearly there. The question now is, how do we make this skill better? To solve this puzzle, let's identify the skill's core problems. First, the painfully slow casting time. The full combo takes a staggering 6 seconds to unleash. In Elden Ring, 6 seconds is an eternity. To address this, I leaned into a slightly tankier build just to be able to withstand hits. Because let's be honest, at 6 seconds to cast, you are going to get hit. Next was the problem of poor hyper armor. With such a long cast time, we desperately needed strong hyper armor to avoid interruption. So I aimed to push poise to 101 with heavy armor and the Bulgo talisman, hoping to tank through hits and ensure the full skill cast. Then came the demanding FP and stamina consumption. For some reason, this skill drains both massively. To combat that, I equipped the Filigreed crest to reduce skill FP cost and invested heavily in both mind and endurance for more resources. To make matters worse, in my tests, many of the go-to damage buffs simply underperformed. Godfrey Icon, no effect. Relana's cameo, nope. The Rotten Windsword Insignia, and by extension, Millicent's prosthesis, Windsword Insignia, and the Thorny Crack tier are not compatible with the skill's slow segmented hits. Flame grant me strength, a pathetic 1%. The Sacred Scorpion Charm gives a modest 12%, but comes with the penalty of increased damage taken. And the only talisman that reliably boosted the skill as intended was Sword of Alexander for a decent 15%. However, I did make a surprising discovery about this weapon. While the sword is 60% holy, specific holy buffs scaled so well, almost as if the sword were a pure holy weapon. The buff from Sword of Light provided an impressive 18% increase, and the Holy Shrouding Crack tier also gave an 18% boost. Both are close to the expected 20% for a full holy damage buff. So far, to make this skill somewhat functional, it demanded minimum 20 mind for FP, minimum 40 endurance for stamina, a very heavy armor with high poise, and a staggering 3 talisman slots dedicated to the Great Jar's Arsenal, the Bulgoat, and the Filigreed crest. This is incredibly taxing on the build, forcing too many sacrifices. Only if there was a way to cast this skill freely and not be interrupted. Oh wait. There is one, a spirit summon. If this skill left me vulnerable, perhaps a summon could draw the aggro and provide enough distraction for me to cast the skill. So I decided to run a series of tankiness tests on various spirit summons, and these were the results. Any of the top 4 could do a great job keeping the aggro. And in terms of distraction, yes, it actually worked. But that's when the true problem dawned on me. The damage of the skill wasn't enough to justify the sheer effort and the immense casting time, even if a summon was distracting the boss. It became painfully clear, no matter how hard I tried, it was time to move on from the skill. If the skill is not the answer, then what is? We have two primary alternatives. Either a two-handed heavy build or a power stance build, so I decided to run two critical tests. The power stance build clearly came first. 21-second TTK on the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. It was faster, more reliable, and delivered far more consistent damage overall. This was the best solution possible for this weapon. As for the skill, it will always be there, and it's decent for clearing scattered mobs while exploring, but I personally can't recommend it as the main star of the build. If you can think of a different way to make the skill truly shine, let me know in the comments. Let's unveil the final blueprint for truly unleashing the Golden Order Greatsword's power. In your main hand, you will want your Golden Order Greatsword, maxed out at plus 10. In your offhand, you will crucially need a second Golden Order Greatsword, also plus 10. Or a viable alternative, like the Iron Greatsword with the Sacred Blade Ash of War and Holy Affinity. For utility, keep a Sword of Light in your other offhand slot for its easy 18% damage increase. This does not even need to be upgraded. You simply cast the skill, then swap back to your dual great swords. And finally, equip any seal in the other offhand slot to cast Golden Vow. Next up, let's talk armor. For ultimate fashion and that undeniable Golden Knight aesthetic, the full Tree Sentinel set is the way to go. It just perfectly complements the weapon and provides excellent defense and the poise we need. But if you want to push for even more damage, swap the Tree Sentinel set for the Rakshasa set with the Raptor's chest for a total of 16% damage increase. Now for the talismans, the core of the build. First, the Claw Talisman. This is the cornerstone of this build, boosting our jump attack damage by a crucial 15%. Next, the Bulgo Talisman for consistency. This increases our poise, allowing us to tank hits mid-jump, preventing interruptions. Then, Greatjar's Arsenal. With two great swords and a heavy armor, this is vital for maintaining medium equip load so you don't fat roll. And finally, the Blade of Mercy. Dual greatsword jump attacks deal immense poise damage, leading to frequent stance breaks. This talisman boosts your damage by 20% after a critical, boosting our overall DPS. For those that truly seek to squeeze out every last drop of damage, you could swap out the Bulgo Talisman and the Greatjar's Arsenal for the Sacred Scorpion Charm and the Dagger Talisman to amplify your damage. Moving on to the physic, the pre-fight edge you need. I recommend the Opaline Heart tier, which provides a broad 15% to all damage negation for 3 minutes, letting us survive those aggressive trades. Pair it with the Holy Shrouding Crack tier, which is absolutely essential for that 18% damage increase. If you're confident in your health management and want pure offense, you could swap the Opaline for the Bloodsucking Crack tier for that extra 20% damage increase. For spells, the fundamental buffs. Golden Vow is your bread and butter pre-fight buff for a universal 15% increase and a defense boost. Cast it and you're ready to go. And finally, for the stats, your foundation. Here's the general guideline depending on your level. Vigor, aim for 50 to 60. Good survivability is paramount. Mind, basic is more than enough. Just remember to cast Golden Vow first, then the Sword of Light, not the other way around. Endurance, push to 40 for high stamina, the armor, and poise. Strength, just meet the minimum requirement for the Golden Order Greatsword, which is 16. Dexterity, meet the minimum requirements, which is 21. As for Faith, this is your primary damage scaling stat. Pump it to 60 or even 80 if you have the levels. And if you're struggling against a boss, summon Yolan and Anna. They were second in our tankiness test and first in the DPS. And there you have it, the complete journey of turning the Golden Order Greatsword from a challenging puzzle into an optimized boss shredding machine. Let me know in the comments what other weapons you want me to deep dive into next. And if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, it helps. Meanwhile, if you want to see my last video on the Iron Eye class in Night Rain, click right here.
Bye.